Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show by MarketingProfs and the Marketing Smarts podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much more each and every week. If you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, then grab a beverage, a notepad, or at least some style of writing utensil, and welcome to the show. Hello to all of my Marketing Smarts live viewers today. I'm super excited to bring you episode 16 of the Marketing Smarts live show. This week's topic is all about how B2B marketers can leverage voice of customer. That's right. You as a marketer, a B2B marketer, can leverage voice of customer for business growth. And our guest is Nate Brown, at least the clip. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up and let's get ready to rock and roll. Hey, I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast, found on your favorite podcast app. If you're not listening, people, come on. Make sure you're tuned into that. Add it to your favorite podcast app. Our guest clips again today are brought to you by none other than Nate Brown, and he is a CX professional, plus he is a great dude. Nate Brown is a perpetual student of the world's greatest experiences and the people who actually create those experiences. Having spent the first decade of his career managing a complex technical support environment for occupational health and e-learning software, Nate transitioned to customer experience in 2015, which is like a long time ago at this point. After authoring the CX Primer, Brown has dubbed the CX Influencer of the Year by Cloud Cherry in 2019 and a top global CX thought leader by ICMI Exceeders, Netami, Martech, and many, many more. This interview was absolutely amazing. As a passion project, Nate created CX Accelerator, a first-class virtual community for customer experience professionals. And Nate serves as the Senior Director of Customer Experiences for Arise Virtual Solutions and can be found at a variety of conferences, speaking and training on the CX topics he loves. I'm telling you, folks, that bio is amazing, but not as amazing as Nate. The whole interview was full of great things, and we're going to bring you some clips today on these items. Now, remember, the clips of Nate Brown today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts podcast episode, and if you want to listen to the full interview with Nate Brown and myself, make sure to tune into the Marketing Smarts podcast. The link to the full show will be in the description below after the live show ends, and actually, if you look now, it just might be there. Now, in this episode, again, I'm talking with Nate Brown about how B2B marketers can leverage voice of customer for business growth. Hopefully in 2023, you want to grow the business. You want to be a vital part of helping the business grow. As a marketer, do you have a system in place? That's the question for you today. Are you paying attention to your voice of customers? Heck, how many times last year as a marketer did you even talk to a customer live or on a virtual call? Do you have something in place where they can tell you they're happy, they're sad, or even give you ideas on how to market better in the future? Well, do you? I hope you do, but if not, or if you want to make it better in 2023, then you're in the right place, because that's what today's conversation is all about. Now, the first place I wanted to dive into with Nate was, why the heck is this topic even important to marketers? I mean, obviously, Nate is a CX professional. Shouldn't this be left to the CX professionals? No, it should be important to marketers. Why is it important to the companies that the marketers work at? And maybe more importantly, why is it important for those humans that we're actually serving with our marketing efforts? Well, here's what Nate had to say about why is voice of customer important to marketers, companies, and humans. Let's take a look.
Why is this important? Well, I mean, when we talk about CX change or marketing change or culture change, what we're doing is change management. And any good change management cycle is going to have the ability to identify the true priorities of what we actually need to change and then validate that that change accomplished the objective. So I ask you this, George, how the heck would we know if the changes that we made worked if we didn't have a robust voice of customer capability to first establish the right priorities of these are the things that are going to make a difference in the lives of our customers, and then be able to use that same capability around voice of customer to validate through qualitative and quantitative data to say, yep, we made the change, and look at this. Look at the impact that we had for the people that we serve. Without that, you as a CX professional are flying completely blind. You made these changes and you just have a hypothesis on what you actually did to impact anybody's life. So, I mean, this is the first thing that we do as CX professionals. We come in, we establish this foundation of listening before we make any changes, so that we don't do more harm than good, so that we know how great our good is, so that we can validate our own existence and fuel this work and earn the right to do more of it.
First of all, let's talk about how that shirt is fire, the banana shirt. But did you hear that? Did you hear that? Anytime you're talking about change, you are talking about change management. You have to know what the heck you're changing, and you have to know if those changes are working. I love that Nate unpacked that. I love also when Nate says, how are you going to know success if there is no voice of customer? So, ladies and gentlemen, I have to ask, are you flying blind right now, like Nate referenced in that clip? If so, make sure you keep listening in, as in a few minutes, we're going to ask Nate a question on how to get started with creating a voice of customer for your marketing team and your business. How the heck do we get started? I'm super curious, as you watch this, do you have a voice of customer in place? Put the answer to that in the chat pane, or let me know on Twitter using the hashtag MPB2B. And of course, tag me using @GeorgeB. Now we'll get back to Nate Brown and his thoughts on how B2B marketers can leverage voice of customer for business growth. But first, I have to ask, are you part of the MarketingProfs community? If not, become part of the MarketingProfs community by heading over to mprofs.com. That's mprofs.com, MP today. Head over there now. Now, it's time for one of my favorite sections, and that is in the B2B news, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips we find on the Google News tab related to you and your B2B business. This week, the title is Only 28% of B2B content marketers report having the technology they need. Yes, that is the title. This article is brought to us by martech.org and was written by Konstantin von Hoffman. Nearly half say their biggest challenge is integrating, correlating data across multiple platforms. Few expect tech spend to increase, and only 28% of B2B content marketers say they have the technology they need, according to a new study. Perhaps coincidentally, only 29% said that organizations are successful with content marketing. Well, I mean, if you don't have the tools, how are you going to be successful with it? Anyway, it goes on to talk about those technology numbers may not change all that soon. Content technologies come in 10th out of 10 areas where marketers expected to see investment in 2023, according to the Content Marketing Institute's annual report on B2B content marketing. This is sad, honestly, because I understand the fuel that content marketing can be for a business. And so this whole article, you might want to check it out. If you want to keep learning more, this article is about a 3-minute read, and it has some interesting stats and may start some great conversations at your company around tech, what you need in 2023, or what you may not need, and also around the conversation of content marketing for your business. To read this article, check out the link below when the show is over, although it might be in the description now, but wait till the show's over. So with that said, let's get back to Nate Brown and his Marketing Smarts podcast episode, which, by the way, was epic. You should check it all out. But now you might be thinking, this sounds great, George, but how the heck do I get started? And what are some of the things I need to keep in mind when creating or getting started with a voice of customer strategy? Well, I'm glad you asked because that's exactly what we're going to have Nate Brown cover next. How the heck do you get started? Let's see what Nate had to say.
Well, let me start with a brilliant example from Brad Cleveland, because a lot of times we do overcomplicate this. I mean, the thing you're trying to do as a B2B marketer is to be where the customers are expressing feedback about you. You need to be there to listen and to take that feedback in. That is what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to give you the case of this restaurant in Southern California. And they have their entire staff, as they navigate these interactions with their guests inside the restaurant, they have a 3x5 note card. And as people express feedback, positive and negative, about their experience in the restaurant, they just simply jot it down. And at the end of the day, the staff comes together and they celebrate. They seek to understand the voice of the guests that they collected that day together. And what a galvanizing thing that is. That this new menu item, this is performing great. This person loves this. By the way, I'm seeing this theme where this type of person really loves this entree, especially when we describe it this way. They're really prone to try something new and they're loving it. Oh, this new drink that we just introduced, not a fit. Doesn't fit our brand. It isn't pairing well with this entree, blah, 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 blah. I mean, just that simplicity, that intelligence, that cadence, that habit-forming process of taking that feedback in, absorbing that voice of the customer, being the vehicle for that as a representative of the restaurant, and then doing that together. That's the heart of this. So as we layer on complicated systems that we can scale this effort up and do incredible things in the virtual world to take in customer feedback, we do not want to lose the heart of what that simple program does.
Man, don't lose the heart of what that simple program does. Make sure you don't overcomplicate the process as you get started. Can you be simple? Like the restaurant in California that Nate told that great story about. Then can you come together as a team? And I love when Nate said to celebrate and seek to understand the voice of your customer and then make smart strategic decisions moving forward. I also love when Nate talked about being the vehicle for the business and for the customer with this process and mindset. Can you add in a simple voice of customer solution? I think so, but you might run into hurdles along the way. Well, no worries. I got you covered in a few minutes because Nate shares some things to watch out for along the way, along that journey, either that you're already on or you're getting ready to start. But we'll get back to Nate Brown in a few minutes. But first, it's time for some dope B2B learnings from the vault of MarketingProfs articles. That's right. It's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article 1 this week is why VOC and CX can't be outdone. That's right. That is right. All one size fits all by Vanessa Bagnato. One company uses its VOC solution to measure how more than 120,000 employees, internal customers worldwide feel about the business and the IT service they receive. It uses a combination of quarterly satisfaction ratings, executive engagement surveys, and instant customer satisfaction survey to gauge how its team is doing. Every time a low score pops up, the company must respond immediately so that employees know they have been heard. Any changes made due to survey results are then measured in the next survey. Now, this article is absolutely amazing. You, again, can go over to the MarketingProfs articles. Keep reading more. The link is in the description below. Article 2 this week, how voice of the customer got its groove back and how to stay in tune by Promise Fallon. Oh man, whatever happened to VOC question mark? Remember back in the 90s when voice of the customer, VOC, was all the rage? It was a process, discipline, a way for companies to gather customer insight to drive product and service requirements. But VOC got lost amidst a booming tech sector, abundant resources, and the many, many new marketers, customers, and transactions that companies pursued. Somewhere along the way, pulling out all the stops to delight the installed customer base got lost. I don't know if that last sentence makes you sad like it does me, but the article goes on. One-to-one marketing, personalization, and demand creation rose above truly understanding customers, above assessing their needs and driving higher order benefits for them and their customers. Today, VOC is again moving to the center of the radar, hence why we did an interview with Nate Brown and why we pulled in 2 CX and voice of customer articles into these. Now, let's get back to the actual interview. In life, when we start something new, many times we run into potholes or hurdles along the way. It is just a true fact. Your journey to creating an amazing voice of customer, to be honest with you, is no different. And that's why I love asking guests like Nate Brown and others historically about potholes, hurdles, the things that will get in the way along your journey. And here's what Nate had to say. When it comes to the CX conversation, when it comes to the voice of customer conversation, when it comes to CX and marketers working together on the voice of customer conversation, strategy, whatever it is for your company, the potholes, the hurdles, these are the things to watch out for.
Let me tell you about one hurdle that I ran into that I didn't expect, that was a critical learning moment for me. So I was trying to be innovative in the way that we captured customer feedback in a safety science company that I was working for a long time. Because I was working as a customer service director, we were getting the issue. Here's the problem, resolve my problem. And we were very good at that. A lot of times there was another layer to the interaction with the customer. It impacted me in this way. Or when you solved the problem, it helped me in this way. And we never captured that feedback. So I just gave all the people in my department this little USB web key button and was like, hey, anytime you get customer feedback, just hit the button. And it took them to this ultra simple little VOC form that was right there in our CRM, at the time Oracle Service Cloud. And it just captured that simple expression of the customer feedback. And we tenaciously closed the loop on that. We would celebrate that. But here's the big thing. We would include, when there was an opportunity to do a better job in that relationship with that customer, we would leverage the agent, the person who captured the feedback. We would leverage them in that loop closure process, which, I mean, they got to solve a problem. They got to put on their critical thinking hat and help to navigate the improvement of that relationship with the customer. That is very intrinsically motivating. So that's the first hurdle to overcome, is disconnecting the VOC process from the people that are collecting it. That's a problem. You want them to be a part of resolving things, creatively coming up with new solutions. You want them to be a part of celebrating things too, on the positive side. So make your VOC process as inclusive as possible. We started to do these mini town hall meetings that was all about voice of customer. Here's what we learned about our customers this month. Here's a problem that we've isolated. We want your help to think through this and how we can reduce the friction in this situation. They were wildly popular because people wanted to know what customers were saying about the work that they were doing. How can we serve our customers better? So we were changing the culture there. But here's the big learning moment, George. So I'm given this button. We extended it beyond the service center to some other departments that were customer facing, that were getting great feedback. And I'm giving this button to a salesperson. And she goes, okay, so that button, that's for customer feedback. So if I get meaningful customer feedback, I hit that button and I put it here. Yep, that's what it does. Where's my button? She goes, because we had no culture, no repository, no channel for her voice, for the voice of our own employees inside of the organization. And that was a tremendous gap in my thinking. Because as a CX leader now, I know that anything that we do for our customers, we do even more intentionally. We design even harder for our own people first, because that's the gift that we give them. And that's the only gift that they have to pass on to the customer, is their own experience that we offer them first as an employee of the organization. That's a metaphor from Denise Leone in her brilliant book, Fusion. So any marketer, any CX professional, anyone, I don't care what kind of leader you are, if you're designing something in this area of voice of customer, make sure first that you're listening to your own people.
I love Nate's story here. Make sure you are solving problems. Make sure you are capturing feedback. Make sure that you are listening. But more important, make sure that you're doing all of this externally for customers, but also internally for your team. How many of us right now are making this same mistake? Pothole hurdle is in your way. Well, we're going to get to some words of wisdom from Nate Brown here in a few minutes. But right now, it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the Marketing Profs community. Yep, time for From the B2B or hashtag MP B2B community. We searched far and wide in the hashtag MP B2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to you, the masses. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag. And second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you or your crew on the show. Now, this week, it's Jenny Walters, customer experience speaker, trainer, podcast host, and consultant. Her LinkedIn message went something a little like this. Customer experience CX. By the way, any ideas why this one made it to the show today? Customer experience CX is everywhere. It's not only about customer service. CX stretches across every touch point and expectations are high. This counts in B2B as much as B2C. Customer experiences are about every single touch point that a person has with your organization. I say person very intentionally because I often hear, well, we're B2B, so CX doesn't really count. But last I checked, businesses are still made up of people and they are still the ones making decisions. Find out more about how CX fits into B2B in this conversation I had with MarketingProfs. And of course, there's a link there and some hashtags with CX, customer experience, and hashtag B2B. But you need to check out the description and click that link to check out the post and read more about it because it is absolutely amazing. Marketing Smarts viewer, I have to ask, are you going to be the next to get the spotlight? Again, remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts live show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me in your post as well. I'm at George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and Twitter. Okay, let's kick it back to Nate Brown and some words of wisdom around this topic of how B2B marketers can leverage voice of customer for their business growth. Here's what Nate Brown wanted to leave us with pertaining to some words of wisdom we should be listening to.
So many things flooded in my mind right now. Here's going to be my little piece as a CX professional to you as a marketer. Really, really work hard to crystallize that brand promise that you are the keeper of, and bring the gift of that to the organization every day as an intrinsic motivator, and work with your CX team to unlock that motivator in the business. We do something as an organization that nobody else can do. We are unique, we're distinctive, we're taking a bold stance of who we are and who we serve. And here's how we're being the guide in this special way. And here's the CX team that's on the front lines of that every day, that's collecting this feedback. And we know the impact that we're having. And leverage that. Let that wash over your employee population to galvanize their loyalty. Give that gift to them of the impact that they're having so that they can then give that gift onward to the customer and generate customer loyalty. Work together with the CX team to give that gift every day. That would be my parting words to you.
I always love how the guests react to the question when I ask them for words of wisdom. But marketing professionals, are you working with your CX team? Marketing professionals, are you listening to your customers? Fellow marketing professionals, are you celebrating customer loyalty in your business? I sure hope so. And if not, I hope you do in the very near future. Ladies and gentlemen, have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know. Use that hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you're joining us on. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Head to the description below. Click on the link to the full Marketing Smarts podcast with Nate Brown and keep on learning more about how B2B marketers can leverage voice of customer for business growth. Remember, these were just a few clips of the original Marketing Smarts podcast interview. And if you got value out of today's show, hit that like, or better yet, share it with a friend. To keep learning more, hit that subscribe or watch additional Marketing Prof videos on your favorite social channel, or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can tune into the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts live show next week. Enjoy, everybody.